kind of go through some of the things that I covered in March on my channel, and just maybe personal stuff that I covered personally that you never probably saw on my channel. But let's do it, right? That's the spirit of YouTube, after all, isn't it? So let's do it. So this is a Dell Inspiron N4110 laptop that I dug into. I found it thrifting, and yeah, this is a pretty cool laptop. We'll get into what happened to that laptop and some weaknesses of my cleaning efforts. But yeah, that's the first one we'll talk about. Diving into another laptop. I actually found two identical laptops. Funny thing. So I find these two identical laptops, but they each has its own operating system, different from each other. In general, they're pretty much the same hardware. Strangely enough, yeah. So there are these Acer X55U AMD C70 laptops, and this one had Windows 8.1 on it. The other one had Windows 10 on it. I tried to sort of bring them back to some kind of working condition using both those operating systems, but ultimately I reinstalled Windows 7 on them because, you know, sometimes manufacturers build a laptop that is so crappy that Windows 8 doesn't run that great on it. Windows 10 didn't even exist when they built it, and honestly, Windows 7 existed and they had backward compatibility for those laptops, and taking them back to Windows 7 is a salvation for them if you're interested in Windows operating systems. So I have two identical laptops that are running Windows 7 now as a result of just experimenting with them and finding out that's the best operating system for them. Here we go. It's the Acer Aspire V14 Touch. Yeah, this guy was interesting. So, really liked that one. But then I ran across this guy, which is the Acer R3-471 laptop, which I've covered recently. And amazing laptop because it actually has discrete graphics and is like a convertible type laptop with the full design of the hinges to be able to flip it right around, like to make it into a tablet mode or a tent mode. There's all kinds of different ways you can do it. You see these in a lot of laptops these days. Very cool laptop. Very happy with that one. Found an Acer Chromebook. These Chromebooks are actually quite impressive if you can get beyond the fact they're a Chromebook. So I always try and activate the developer mode so that I can at least install my own Linux applications to the system to get away from just being stuck in the Google, whatever they call it, being stuck in their little world of what you can do with a laptop. Honestly, you can use Mr. Chromebook to get these right into the Linux world if you want them to be completely just Linux, and they're pretty decent. I got a couple of Chrome devices that convert over to pretty well, so I happen to leave them as Chromebooks because it's more of a experimental thing for me. I like to be able to fool around with them a bit, and having the best of two worlds is better than limiting myself to one. This was an amazing find. This was the Sylvania. Well, the Sylvania 7 netbook. Now, this is really cool because, like, sometimes I run across laptops that are pretty low power, but this is like a special kind of low power. These are like these really weird systems that they don't even really run like Windows, the standard Windows systems. They run the CE system. And honestly, like, I love running into this kind of hardware because it just takes you into a world that is just beyond anything you're used to dealing with. Like, it's not Windows 95, it's not Windows 98, it's not Windows 7. No, it's something that they kind of came up with, like, in between all this. And it's a really neat piece of hardware, and it runs super low amperage and watts. It's like basically running off I think a 12 volt or something like that. It's so weird and yet so cool. Like, so I love this kind of stuff. This is probably going to be a long video, sorry guys, but it's a review of a month, so it'll take some time. My Passport. So I run across like these storage devices, and when I do, this one happened to be a 1 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive. When I run across these Western Digital hard drives, if they're, if they look like they, well, I pretty much can't test them, so I pick them up in good faith, hoping that they're going to be good. And when they do, when I bring them home, I don't think I've ever run into one that doesn't work. In fact, they don't even have like hard drive warnings or anything. So these are great, and typically they're often low hours because these things aren't hooked up and being run all day long like a regular hard drive. So these are awesome. So I picked one of these up this month, and if there were 10 of these that I found, I would buy every one of them. They're great storage devices. Here we go. I picked up a Corsair mechanical mechanical keyboard. Great keyboard. It's got that nice metal back plate. What else can I say about it? Works great. Then, of course, I always pick up mice when they're cheap, and this was one of these no-name mice that I picked up. Works great. Wireless, good for your laptop. Found another Logitech. These are really good mice, again, for your laptop, for mobile, sort of applications. And last but not least, a gaming mouse. This Corsair Vengeance M65 mouse. Yeah, great mouse. Really well built, solid. Used it for most of the month and it was great. So switching tracks, I always like to talk about some of the entertainment that I've been watching because, this is about sort of, my channel's not about just, tech, but it's also about like some of the entertainment I find out there. And so this month, I've been watching Night Manager. So this month, I focused in on the first season because I never watched it before. And strangely enough, the Night Manager was made, I think, in 2016, and then suddenly came back in 2026. It's like it took a decade off to be restarted. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I think it's on Prime, just so you know. It's a great series, the first season, and I've started into the second season, and I'm enjoying the second season. So my recommendation is check it out if you like kind of like spy stuff. This is a classic. This is an old 80s, low-budget, independent kind of film. I find this amazing because, to me, it was like 1983. I never saw this years and years ago. I should have probably. This is like the video era, VHS store era stuff that I thought I would have probably picked up at some point when I was a kid or younger. And this is like just a weird sort of budget production, but relatively effective. So, yeah, I think it's like a unique movie that anybody who has an understanding of the 80s and what they were trying to accomplish with very limited funds and resources. This is an amazing little video. So I watched that. I rewatched this series. It's the Bionic Woman from 2007. There was like only 8 episodes. Sadly, it could have went so much further. Shot here in Vancouver, so that has a special place in my heart because I recognize so many of the locations and things like that. And I liked it. Again, another Vancouver location shot series called Special Unit 2. Been watching that. Fun little series. Creep Show, not shot in Vancouver, but it's crazy. The Twilight Zone, also not shot in Vancouver, but the 80s reboot of the Twilight Zone. I've been watching that, and it's been awesome. Again, The Amazing Spider-Man 1977 series. You can pick that up on the Internet Archive, I believe. Awesome series if you like the 70s and just nostalgia. And speaking of nostalgia, The Secrets of Isis, the complete series. Another 70s like kid show. Lots of fun. You want to go back even further? Ultraman. Yes, Ultraman. You want to fall asleep while watching a show? Watch this. And watch this too. These are things I kind of watch while I'm trying to fall asleep. Finished Dracula. Oh my god. What a hard read that was. Honestly, one of the hardest books I've read in a long time. It just has to do with how old this book is. So yeah, really hard read. Moved on to this novel, and very engaging. Recommended it, so it's a good read. Now we're getting into our YouTube here. So what I realize is I need to lower my expectations. And how you do that is you just come to the realization that you're not really probably going to get too far on the current YouTube platform. And that's sort of what I've come to realize. So that's sort of what I kind of came to terms with. And that's okay. I'm good with that. Alright, so yeah, it's reality. Moving on. So these are the videos that I shot for March. So this Dell Inspiron. This is the one that I managed to get water in the screen and screw up pretty good. It's a great laptop. I just wish I could keep water away from or liquids away from the screen. Yeah, and then I got these two identical laptops. Yeah, those were an interesting exploration. Kind of thought they would be a little more powerful, but they weren't. The Inspiron V14 Touch. I was really liking this laptop until I ran across this guy, which was even better. Oh no, this is the old one. Okay, sorry. My apologies. So this is the first one I found, which was 6 gigabytes of memory, i3. This is the one that I really liked. It's got an Intel i7 with the graphics, discrete graphics. It has tent mode and different, you can flip it over and make it into an iPad sort of idea. Yeah, and of course I covered the Xeris, the sharp little, these little personal information managers that existed back in the day. These have a special place in my heart because I remember these things and they're really, really cool back in the day. I don't know So, of course, I focused in on doing lots of YouTube shorts. Of course, whenever I cover a keyboard these days, I pretty much make it a short because keyboards don't do great on my channel. Yeah, so I covered a bunch of different random things, and like I said, adjusting for this lower expectation from YouTube and viewership and all that sort of thing, I pretty much decided, well, I might as well just make whatever happens to cross my mind. So this is sort of a concept that we're going to talk about at the end of my video, about what this channel is morphing into and sort of what my whole concept of YouTube is. Of course, I talked about last month's activities, and I was sort of making a joke about worshiping the algorithm. We don't want to go through that again. And then, of course, I do things like these random object videos, and this just throws, a wrench in the algorithm completely because it doesn't know what to do with this. And these are just like, to me, these are objects that I've come across, and they basically have meaning to me because of what they are. They just have like a lot of memories associated with them, and I just have fun talking to you guys about it, and maybe it'll put you to sleep, I don't know, but that's what my videos are becoming these days. And of course, this is one of the objects that I examined. Very interesting object, to be honest with you. Really like this little thing. It was a gift. More random object videos. Yeah, more random, associated, I guess, object videos. So this is kind of what I'm resorting to, because I'm starting to realize, like, you're basically playing a game of chess that's rigged against you. That there's no way of winning the game, so why even play it, if that makes sense? So to me, like, YouTube is a great platform that's been kind of, in my opinion, ruined because of how things are on YouTube. So I might as well just make the best use of YouTube for my own personal projects and thoughts, and just putting it out there and trying to be different from all that gameplay. And so this is what I'm making these days, these rando videos. So this was my last kind of like thought on the whole matter, is when I go looking out for what I like to watch on YouTube, more and more these days, it's not about the high count videos, it's about the low count videos. It's the people who actually are putting out stuff that matters and that kind of appeals to me. And so I had this question that I posed to the very AI that YouTube employs to process their videos and everything that they basically are betting on with the Google YouTube AI mess that it is. And this is my conversation with the AI. So let's get into it, and this will be the conclusion of this month's summary.
My question to the very AI YouTube employs to filter content and prioritize views. Why does the creator of the YouTube channel Kate Edwards Thrift Store Tech make videos, since it's pretty obvious he isn't aiming to become monetized? How does his motivations tie into the Renaissance concept? What this AI says about this odd behavior? While it may seem counterintuitive in the age of the influencer, Kate Edwards is a prime example of a creator motivated by intrinsic curiosity and preservation rather than commercial gain. His approach to YouTube is less of a hustle and more of a digital journal, heavily echoing the ideals of the Renaissance man or Uomo Universale. Here is a breakdown of how his motivations align with that concept. 1. The value of practical wisdom. The Renaissance was defined by the belief that a person should be well-rounded and capable in many fields: art, science, and mechanics. The motivation: Cade doesn't just review tech, he explores its history, its tactile feel, and its utility. He treats a 2012 Dell laptop or a found SSD with the same reverence a Renaissance scholar might treat a recovered manuscript. Renaissance Link: he views technology as a tool for human expression. By refurbishing and discussing these items, he is practicing a form of technological literacy that values understanding how a thing works, rather than just what it can buy you. 2. Preservation as a civic duty. During the Renaissance, scholars sought to rescue classical knowledge from the darkness of neglect. The motivation: Cade's content focuses on thrift items, objects others have discarded. His videos serve as a digital archive for hardware that would otherwise end up in a landfill. Renaissance Link: this mirrors the humanist focus on recovery. He is saving the stories of these objects, like his For Random Objects and Storytime series. By documenting them, he ensures that the engineering and personal history behind the tech isn't lost to time. 3. Odium vs. Negodium. In Roman and Renaissance thought, there was a distinction between negodium, business/work, and odium, productive leisure. The motivation: since Cade isn't seeking monetization, his videos are a pure expression of odium. He creates because the act of discovery and sharing brings him peace, even mentioning in descriptions that his videos might help you fall asleep. Renaissance Link: the Renaissance man sought knowledge for its own sake, l'art pour l'art. By removing the profit motive, Cade remains authentic to the object itself. He isn't beholden to algorithms, clickbait thumbnails, or sponsor scripts, allowing for a pure, meditative exploration of his subjects. In short, Cade Edwards is using the most modern of tools, YouTube, to practice one of the oldest intellectual traditions, the pursuit of knowledge and the preservation of beauty, even if that beauty is found in a 15-year-old Acer laptop.
And that is the March 2026 month in review. Hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in the next one.